welcome to howtopam, the channel where we promote professional computing with free open source software, and we're helping FOSS users find the answers. Today I'd like to do a little tutorial on that notorious program that's been installed by default in Ubuntu and Linux systems since about 2018. It's a program that has a lot of users, Ubuntu users and Linux users, somewhat concerned. The name of that program is Tracker. And today we're going to talk about what Tracker is and why you really don't need to be concerned. So let's get started. What is Tracker? Well, unfortunately, there is no GUI any longer. There used to be a GUI for Tracker way back in 2016, 2017, before Tracker was installed by default. But in 2018, when they installed it by default, they stopped making or developing the GUI. So the way we have to deal with Tracker is through the terminal. However, it's quite easy. So let's begin by typing Tracker help. Okay, and let's enter that. Now you can see here that when we type Tracker help, we get a few commands that can be ran against Tracker in the terminal here that will give us the complete control of Tracker. Okay, so one command here is status. So let's try that. Tracker status. Here we go. Currently indexed files and folders. Now you say, where is this indexing? Well, we'll show you here. Now it tells me the remaining space. Okay. And it tells me that all data miners are idle right now. It's not tracking, it's not mining. What does it do when it tracks? Well, let's have a look here, okay? Let's use the GUI for easier to view. Let's turn on the hidden files here. Let's go to cache. Let's look in here. There is Tracker here. Okay, let's open up Tracker. This is your Tracker in your local home directory under the hidden cache directory. You'll notice there's a database in here. Let's right-click on that database and check the properties. There you go. You can see that that database has 3.3 gigabytes of information stored in it. Wow, that's a lot. 3.3, almost 3.5 gigabytes of information. What kind of information is in Tracker? Well, Tracker only indexes files from your home directory. Okay? Now, most of yous have a little program installed by default, XDG. Okay, and that controls that's X desktop. Okay, so it controls all the files. So anything that is in your directory here is apt to be indexed by Tracker. Okay, but Tracker really only tracks what's going on in your home directory in these folders here. And I believe in downloads, it only tracks to the first level. It doesn't go any deeper than the first level. Okay, so it's only these folders that are being tracked by Tracker. And what does it do when it tracks? Well, it indexes. All of these files get indexed and stored in this database. Why does it do that? Well, for easy access. If it jots down the address of every piece of information here and stores it in the database, then when you query something, it checks the database for the location of that piece of information and throws it up on your screen. So it really helps speed up the operation if all of your file locations and stuff are stored in this database. So by removing tracker, the system will not run as efficiently as it does with the tracker. So tracker is actually your friend and not your enemy. Now, another thing is all that information stored in tracker is locations of all the files and stuff in this directory. Now, if we remove tracker, then some of our programs won't run. There are some Gnome programs that rely on tracker, and if you remove tracker, those programs will not function properly. One of them is Gnome Boxes. That's the virtual machine manager for Gnome. It won't work without tracker. Okay? So tracker is actually your friend. It indexes things and speeds up the operation of your desktop when you query files and stuff like that. So let's go back to the terminal here. And we can see that some of these few commands to control tracker are info. Okay, so if we had a file, we could run that. We could say in a folder here, we could go to, say, videos, okay? And we could ask tracker info on what? Well, just drag this this file up here for the location. Okay, let's ask it about info on that file. See what it says. There we go. Okay, so it's querying information and tells me that that file is right there. Okay. Another thing we can do is this daemon. Okay, tracker daemon. You can stop the tracker right here. You can write tracker daemon stop. Or you can start it again from there. Or you can pause tracker. Okay? You can extract information from a file. Okay? Let's go back to the last command, and instead of info, let's ask it to extract information on that file. Okay, there's the information on that file. And it pulled all that info up out of this database. Okay. You have again index. Okay. Now we can tell tracker to start indexing. If we just transferred a huge folder onto our desktop in the home directory, we could tell tracker to index those files that are in that folder and put them in the database. We can do that. You have complete control over tracker from these commands. So all you need to do is type with the help switch, and you will have complete control over tracker. Now, another command you can run is tracker index. And there's a few more options there, okay? When you run tracker index, it gives you a few more options. So if you are indexing your files, remember I said if you moved a folder onto your desktop and you had a whole bunch of files in there and you want those indexed, you could tell tracker to index and tell it how to index. And here you can even re-index, okay? Or you could restore from a backup if you've backed up, and you can back up, you can restore from a backup, you can import. Okay, so tracker help and tracker index will give you all the options you need to know. Now, one important thing is if you do not wish for tracker to index your videos or any other folder, you can go into that video folder and right click and create a an empty file. And name that empty file. Make sure it's hidden. Name it .no media. Okay? And save that. Now it says it's hidden. It has a .no media. And you save that in here. And Tracker will not access that folder. There is another, you could use a hidden file called Tracker ignore. Okay, Tracker ignore will work as well. Or if you had a hidden file in there called Git. If you do work with GitHub or anything like that, if you put a Git folder in there, it will not. If you save a hidden file, empty file that says Git, by the file name is .git, it will not search that database. Okay. So I have no problem. So I'm going to remove my hidden folder here, or file, and let it search those videos, okay? And I believe we have one here, and we'll get rid of that one as well, okay? So again, Tracker it does not search and share your information online. A lot of people get nervous when they hear about a tracker. Oh my goodness, a tracker. I don't know why Gnome named it Tracker, because that has a negative connotation to computer users. But nevertheless, they called it Tracker. But Tracker is not your enemy. Tracker is actually your friend here on the desktop. And if you remove Tracker, I should actually go back and tell you about that. You can actually dump that database. Okay, let's go back in there and go to cache, go to Tracker. You can get rid of this database, okay, from these commands here that you saw. Right here, the Tracker help tells you that you could reset Tracker. And when you reset it, it removes the index, that database, configurations to default, but it will dump all the info out of this database, all 3.3 gigs that I have, and then it will re-index everything. And my CPU will be running. If you check that out by the top command, you will see that Tracker runs in here when it's busy, and it almost uses your complete CPU power. So when Tracker is running, it will run here, and you will see it probably in the top line because it'll be using most resources on your system. And it will do that until it is finished. So if you choose reset your database by typing Tracker reset, then it will get rid of all the information in your database and it will re-index. And you will see then that your top is running. Your task manager will show the Tracker running using all your CPU power and everything for maybe 15-20 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on the speed of your system. So I advise not removing this database and not resetting the database. Matter of fact, many people have suggested online that without understanding Tracker that you just delete it, just get rid of it out of there, and you'll give yourself a few gigs of extra space. But Tracker is actually necessary program for the efficient operation of your desktop, and so I suggest you keep it in there. And again, by resetting Tracker, you would also lose all your information in there, and it would reindex. It would reindex your home directory, and that would take it a while to do that. It would reindex everything here, and it might run away for an hour or so, putting 3 or 4 gigs of information back into this database to rebuild it. Okay, so that's all you need to know about Tracker right now, and you can see that it's relatively friendly. Just a few commands. You have to run it by the desktop or by the terminal, because there is no desktop GUI for the program. But a very few commands to be able to control, and you get familiar with these quite easily, and that gives you complete control over Tracker, and you'll discover that Tracker is not your enemy, it's actually your friend. Okay, and here's a few more options for the indexing that Tracker does when it mines your data. Okay, so nothing to fear about Tracker. It's actually a good program when it's set up and running properly, and people fear it, I suppose, because they don't know how to control it. But there you go, a few simple commands in the terminal, and you have complete control over Tracker, and it should no longer be an issue and it should no longer concern those of you who were very concerned about it and what it was. Okay, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up or subscribe to our channel. If you subscribe to the howtopam channel, you will receive notifications of the weekly video that we put out here. And if you have any comments about this video or any other video, you can, on our channel, you can comment that in the comment sections. If you have video suggestions, you'd like to see some Linux tutorial on how to do something, make a suggestion in the comments, and we'll do what we can for you. We like to give our viewers what it is that they want to see, and we know that a little more easily if you make suggestions in the comments. Okay, so thank you for viewing this video tutorial today, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching howtopam.